If junk food exists, so does junk wine. If you're eating fresh, whole foods, why are you continuing to drink bad grocery store wine? I'm sure you already know this, but not all wines are created equal. They all have a similar starting point, but often end up in a variety of not so wholesome places. In an ideal world, wine is made from only 4 to 5 simple ingredients. I've put together this video to show you how to make wine from the grocery store instead of buying wine from the grocery store. My name is Antonia de Heinrich, and I will teach you how to make wine in your own kitchen.
You will need a large bowl, a strainer, and a jar with a lid. I got this big one at TJ Maxx for $7. And grapes, of course. I got 4 bags of muscat grapes at Whole Foods. Start by removing the grapes from their stems, or rachises, which would be the correct viticultural term. Go ahead and destem 3 to 4 bunches at a time. Make sure to leave behind any grapes that don't look right, like these. This first grape is split and might give access to stuff we don't want in our fermentation. The second grape has been crushed and is split and is looking like it's starting to rot. This third one is starting to rot. Definitely don't want that. And this one's moldy, so that one can go straight to the compost. Definitely toss anything that doesn't look intact. If you have a juicer, I'd highly recommend you use it, as you will maximize juice extraction. If you're like me and you don't have one, you will have to use your hands. Gently work the grapes with your hands, making sure you get them all, and collect the juice in the bowl below. Periodically pour the juice off into your jar. Once you're finished processing, these 4 bags of grapes should be reduced to only 1 sieve of skins and approximately half a gallon of juice. More if you use the juicer. In a final step on day 1, I will use a refractometer to measure sugar in bricks in my juice. 20.1 bricks will equate to approximately 12% alcohol. Then I store my juice covered in the fridge for settling. After a few days in the fridge, there should be a clear separation between the clean juice and the solids on the bottom, called lees. That means it's time to rack. We're going to use clear tubing to siphon the clean juice off of the solids, because we're just going to use the clean juice for fermentation and discard the lees. Next, we're going to weigh out a tiny amount of dry yeast and rehydrate it in 104-degree water. You don't want the water to be too hot or too cold to make sure the yeast stays alive. I like to sprinkle the yeast onto the surface of the warm water and then give it a gentle stir to prevent clumps from forming. The warm water will activate the yeast, but adding a little bit of juice will provide a sugar boost and help the yeast acclimatize to the cooler temperature of the juice. Once the yeast mixture is actively bubbling and has cooled down to approximately the same temperature as the juice, we can add it to our jar and give it a gentle stir. You will want to loosely cover the jar to prevent stuff from getting into your fermentation. You can use a wet paper towel, saran wrap, or one of these silicone stretch lids, but make sure there's a way for the fermentation pressure to escape. A couple of days after inoculating your juice with yeast, this is what your active fermentation should sound and look like. It is a good idea to check the progress of your fermentation by checking bricks daily using a hydrometer. You want to observe a steady decrease in sugar or bricks as the fermentation progresses. Once your fermentation reaches peak activity, you will notice a steady decrease in vigor until the fermentation stops on its own and you end up with a clear separation between clean wine and lees on the bottom of the jar.
So there you have it. All that needs to be done is to gently pour or siphon the wine off the lees into a bottle. Cheers! People ask me all the time what wines they should buy because the ones they are drinking don't make them feel well. 9 out of 10 times they buy wine at the grocery store
and know next to nothing about the wines, let alone their ingredients. It starts there. Know how your wine is made and what goes into it. This is why I created the Wine Masterclass. I want to give you the opportunity to learn about the wine production process so you can ask the right questions and make educated decisions on the wines you're putting in your body. So this is your personal invitation to take control. You don't eat junk food, am I right? Then it's time to steer clear from junk wine as well, and the Wine Masterclass will give you the tools to do that. Please click the link and check it out to learn more.